Hi there, it's Morris from selfimprovementmethods.com. Today I want to talk about personal development goals. Um, there's a lot written on this subject, but I really don't want to get into the specifics because only you can come up with these personal development goals. They're they're personal, and somebody else can't really tell you what you need to do. In fact, there's a little known fact that when you ask someone about you, where you're actually putting them in the position to evaluate you, you're actually giving them power over you. This is um, this is a subtle form of manipulation, actually. So people don't really realize this, but they are uh, asking people to take control of them when you ask for someone to make evaluations about you or what you should do. There's nothing wrong with getting advice and getting a lot of advice from a lot of different sources, but you have to be the one to gather this information and make the decisions. There's a tendency to go to someone who knows something you don't know and uh, put them in a position where they are giving you the uh, direction and you follow that direction and you can follow it blindly. The idea of coming up with your own personal development goals is to put you in the driver's seat. So uh, that's something to keep in mind. You need to be making these decisions and you need to be looking at what you need to do. Now, not everybody is good at everything, but everybody's good at something. And this is something that they kind of stress in school. If you, there's a concern that if you're not doing well in a particular subject, that you need to study more and get up on that subject and to be able to do that thing. And if you're already good at something, just leave it alone and put your focus on what you're having trouble with. Business owners tend to do this naturally because they tend to have to do everything. So, but what this creates is just people that are their goal is to be average. So they leave what they're really good at alone and put all their focus on what they're rotten at and try to bring that up to average or good enough or sort of get by. So now you got no uh, specialty here. There's so what you should be doing is pretty well ignoring what you don't do well. Hire somebody, go to Fiverr, go to Odesk or something, or hire the local tech kid to help you out. But you need to know what you're good at and improve on that 10 times. And that's where your strength is. That's where your abilities lie. So you need to just like don't put any attention on what you're not good at or what you're struggling with. Put attention on the things that you're good at because that is just going to, a little bit of effort there is going to multiply like crazy. Um, there's an old saying, uh, jack of all trades, master of none, right? But that's actually a misstatement. This is goes back to the 1600s, actually, Pilgrim days, and the actual expression is jack of all trades, master of one. So in the colonial times, everybody had to know about something in order to survive. So the blacksmith had to know how to make bread. The baker had to know how to handle horses. They had to be a jack of all trades, but they specialized in one. They were master of one. jack of all trades, master of one is the correct way. So you need to be a master of one, but you also have to be a jack of all trades. And that's where the apprentice system started, really, is making masters of a certain occupation or calling. So figure out what you're good at and become a master of it. The concept of kung fu in China, it really has nothing to do with martial arts. It actually means a professional person, like a lawyer or a doctor, is somebody who's just darn good at what they do. That is somebody who has good kung fu. They are a professional. So be a professional at whatever you do. Be a professional at the things that you are strong at, and increase that strength. It would be just a monumental growth. Ben Franklin's way of prioritizing things is another great way for you to kind of like have a little insight. He would just list all the things that he wanted to do, and his on his list is many self-improvement targets and goals. So then he would list them, and then he would order them by priority A, B, and C, and work on each one. I think it was you should actually Google that, because it was about building his character, and it was kind of interesting because he was supposed to be kind of a playboy back in those days. So I don't know, but I guess he wanted to build his character. He was quite an interesting kind of guy. Thomas Edison had this philosophy also, that he said, why should I spend years studying something when I can hire someone who has spent years studying something? And if you look at that kind of an attitude, how many people can you hire that have spent years doing something? So if you hire 10 people who have spent 4 years studying something, well, that's 40 years experience at your fingertips for the price of whatever it takes to get the guy on the phone. So it's quite an interesting philosophy. There's a lot of people a lot of very rich people who are saying that they would rather not hire like a university graduate to work for them. They would rather have someone who had spent the time exploring their own talents and what they're doing. So hire somebody for the things that you're not really good at, or that take a lot of time. And Fiverr is a great place to start, and Odesk, I say, is great. People have a lot of success out of those things. So don't let people evaluate for you and tell you what you need to change about yourself. That has to come from you. You have to strengthen your strengths, and just let your weaknesses not be part of you. I mean, it's no big deal. And do what Ben Franklin and Thomas Edison suggest. Organize your thoughts and priorities, and hire somebody. Okay, well, I want to give you about 400 personal growth quotes. So pull up a chair. This is going to be another 4 hours here. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so you can Google those. A lot of people really enjoy quotes, but I really don't see the point in them. You kind of just, I don't know, I guess they make you feel good. But get your pencil and a paper and start figuring these things out, because only you can set your personal development goals. Well, let me give you a little hierarchy here. You have, as far as anything you're going to try to group or categorize, you have to have at the top your general policy, which guides your whole thought process and the steps you're going to do. And then underneath this broad statement is of the policy is goals. So the goals are related to the policy, but the policy actually takes precedent. Um, then under the goals, you have your targets, right? So those are like the subcategories. And then the under the targets, you have your to-do list, basically the small things. So that's kind of the hierarchy. So you can look at that as your overall policy. Then your next strata would be the goals, and then your targets. All of these have a time factor, so they can be general, but you have to stick a time factor on it, because if it doesn't have some kind of your target has to have a time. They say that every activity takes as long as the time that's allowed for it or allocated to it. Um, I find that to be pretty true. A lot of people like to wait till the last minute to do things, and then they just cram. So there's that sense of urgency. I don't know what that's all about. I guess that's human nature. Uh, I kind of like to set a time and say I'll be done by this, and then move on. It makes life a lot easier, a lot less stressful, that's for sure. So there you go. You got your targets, you got your goals, and you got the overall policy. And it's good to write a policy, your general policy. What do you believe in? What do you do? How do you operate your life, and what's important to you? That's your overriding policy. And then your goals is smaller things that you want to achieve, but they're a longer time frame. So it might be months or years for goals. And then your targets are smaller time frame, and there's more of them that build up to doing this. And then you got these individual things on your to-do list. So that's a little way to kind of group things and think about things. So there you go. Develop personally and enjoy yourself, because what you're really doing a lot of things very well. And that's something else. When a person has a handle on things and they're really just, it comes natural to them and they're just really good at it, they think it's easy because it feels easy. But and then they get that idea that everybody can do it because it's so simple to them. But actually, it's not that simple to the average person. It's just that you're just damn good at it. So don't discount the things that you're good at and that come naturally. So yeah, it's you kind of like tend to just forget that and think, well, it's nothing important. Everybody can do that. Well, no, you just might be a freaking genius. So, yeah. So take some pride in that and take a look at it, and maybe really build on that stuff that just comes really easy to you that you think anybody can do, because that might just be gold, right? Okay, well, I hope you enjoy this video. So click the button down below to subscribe, share, comment, and visit my website, selfimprovementmethods.com. Got a free gift for you at selfimprovementmethods.com/go, and make it a good day. Bye.